Welcome to the channel. Today's video is going to discuss Piers Morgan's new interview with Fiona Harvey. Now, if you're not familiar, Fiona Harvey is the real-life Martha from the Netflix series that was just released called Baby Reindeer. Baby Reindeer is about a stalker who stalked a man named Donnie in the series, but his real name is Richard Gadd. Richard Gadd has gone on to write about his experience with this stalker who, in the Netflix series, her name is Martha, but the internet sleuths basically went through and found out who this character was based off of, and her name is Fiona Harvey. And she is now speaking out with Piers Morgan about what she thinks of the series. So in this video, I just kind of want to go over a few things. First of all, as a mental health professional, I just want to get into just how bad an idea I think it was for Piers Morgan to interview what is portrayed as a legitimate stalker. I also just kind of want to touch on whether or not this is exploitive or not. I think that we've all kind of become a little bit desensitized to people with mental health issues being interviewed or being put on television. I think this was very much kind of desensitized due to Dr. Phil and shows like his. I just kind of want to remind people, so Dr. Phil's show started in 2002, and yes, he does have a doctorate in clinical psychology, but he stopped renewing his license in clinical psychology in 2006. At that point, became more of an entertainer than he was a clinical psychologist, but I don't believe most people realized at the time that he was not renewing his license. And so I think a lot of people just felt like, well, it's okay to watch this because this is a doctor, not a medical doctor. He never had a medical license, but he had a doctorate in clinical psychology. And so I think people thought what he was doing was okay because this was an educated person. I don't think people were just understanding the fact that he was just a very good entertainer. And so, I do think we need to start asking ourselves these questions about, is this really a good idea to have people with mental health issues being interviewed like this? And is this really like why are we doing this at this point? Like, are we just going to go ahead and accept the fact that it's exploitive? Are we just going to say it's for entertainment and so it's okay? I mean, like, where do people really stand on this? I just kind of want to bring up that question. And then two, I do want to go over, like, at the end of this, I think this might be a good time for me to bring it up. I've kind of always wanted to do a video about this, and I'm just going to kind of tack it on to the end of this. I think it's a little ironic that Piers Morgan is doing an interview with Fiona Harvey. Now, I'm by no means saying that Piers Morgan is a stalker at all. I'm just saying, though, that his coverage of Meghan Markle has been, I think you could use the word obsessive. Now, I do think this is because of Piers Morgan's ego. I think he's basically like acting like a jilted lover, except he was never a lover of Meghan Markle's. I want to play the clip of how Piers Morgan met Meghan Markle. I'm not even sure if people remember this, but he met Meghan Markle in the same visit that Meghan Markle met Prince Harry. She met with Piers Morgan first, and then she met Prince Harry and completely blew off Piers Morgan from that. Now, I am not saying that that is okay, in any way, shape, or form, but I'll let Piers Morgan describe the story. And I honestly just think his behavior since then, he has just attacked Meghan. Now, I'm not a fan of Meghan's at this point. I was in the beginning, and I believed her and everything that she was going through. There was a specific incident that happened in America, and I found it extremely distasteful, and I haven't liked her since. But it wasn't because of anything that happened in England. So, this is by no means a video with commentary on Meghan Markle. People are very split on that, but I think we can all agree that Piers Morgan has had a lot of coverage on Meghan Markle. But for right now, let's get back to the whole Fiona Harvey interview. I'm going to go ahead and just first, for people who might not be that familiar with it, are going to play a little bit of a clip just kind of explaining what's going on. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this.
So you're a comedian?
Sort of.
It's not going well.
So is that a question?
Somebody hurt you, didn't they? Who was it?
Martha, can you let go of my hand now, please? Martha, please let go.
Don't you dare! And you're 100% sure it's not you?
Yeah, absolutely.
The so-called real-life Martha, portrayed on the smash hit Netflix stalker series Baby Reindeer, has spoken out denying she stalked the show's creator, Richard Gadd. Fiona Harvey, 58, from Scotland's Central Belt between Glasgow and Edinburgh, spoke to Piers Morgan on his uncensored YouTube
It
show.
says that you told Richard Gadd he looked like a baby reindeer toy you once had as a child, hence the name of the show.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I appear to have written most of the show in my sleep. I dressed
Did you have a baby reindeer?
I had a toy reindeer.
So that's true.
And he shaved his head. That bit is true. And there were reindeers in the shops. It was Christmas time or something. It was a joke. So I have inadvertently penned the name of the show.
Right. But that is true.
That's true. That's true.
She also turned the tables on Gadd, asking him to leave me alone and framed the top-rating show as merely an attempt for him to make cash because stalking was in vogue.
If Richard Gadd is watching this, what's your message to him?
Leave me alone, please. Get a life, get a proper job. I am horrified at what you've done. I think he wanted to make money. I think he picked on somebody. There was a backstory there with that stalker article out there, right? So stalking's in vogue. Going to prison's in vogue. What do writers say, or English lecturers or something, write about what you know?
Okay, so that just gives you a little bit of an idea of like what the show is about, and then also it's a little bit of the interview with Fiona. So just some comments on that. One, I think the actress who played Fiona, I'm not sure what her name is, but the actress who's playing Martha in Baby Reindeer, I think she did such a wonderful job. I mean, after watching the actual real life Martha or Fiona Harvey, the actress who's playing Martha, I think that was an exceptional match right there. So kudos to her. She did a very good job. Also, I do think it's interesting because I really do feel like if Fiona had come out, it really would have looked good for her, honestly, if she would have come out and just said, you know what, these things are true. I'm extremely embarrassed by them. I just want to like move on with my life. I went to jail. If she did go to jail, I'm assuming Netflix did some pretty serious fact checking before putting this out, but who knows? Anyway, but I think if she just would have said those things and apologized and said, I'm trying to move on with my life, and I'm trying to understand my disorder, and I've been told that this is a society where people are forgiven, I can have a second chance, and now I'm trying to move on, and he's made this movie like bringing all of this up again. And I think people probably would have been more on her side if that had been true, if she would have went on and gotten some type of rehabilitation or some insight to her disorder. But it does not appear that she has, if in fact she is a stalker or does have this disorder. So I find that to be just kind of, very interesting. That could have been her moment to change the narrative on the story. But, you can't really change the narrative if it's not true. But it does kind of like, just bring up a question for me too. I do think the series does explore how Richard Gadd, or Donnie in the Netflix series, how he very much gets in this state of trauma due to some very serious events that happen to him. And then he just kind of continues to stay in this pattern of trauma or drama, and sometimes that does happen. People like experience some extreme traumas. And I'm not saying that he sought out to be stalked. I'm not saying that he, deserved any abuse that happened to him after this. Like there's a lot of people who have, trauma when they're younger. They, even grow up in very chaotic homes. And so they're drawn to kind of like just what they're used to, which is like these drama situations. I mean, nothing alleviates another human from blatantly abusing another human. Like even if that person is kind of like wired towards drama, that doesn't mean you have to go and abuse them. So, I'm not saying that by any means or victim blaming him at all. I'm just kind of like worried though that, he has a stalker situation and he's essentially kind of like associated himself with the stalker again. And so that doesn't give her the green flag to come out and start stalking him again or give him problems, but it's just a little bit of a messy situation. I'm worried about him continuing to stay in this constant state of, trauma and drama. but again, that's his life and those are like his choices. But I just hope he did this for reasons that can help him move forward, as opposed to like keeping him stuck to where he seemed to be at throughout like the series. So those are just kind of like my thoughts on that. Next up, I do want to just play. So like I said, I think many people are going to cover the inconsistencies in Fiona's interview. I think people are going to point out a lot of things. What I thought was interesting in the interview, and what I think caught her off her baseline the most, and kind of like the moment I think she really wasn't expecting, was when Piers asks her about her family. And I think she was so prepared to answer questions about Richard Gadd and about the stalking and everything else. I think she never expected this question. And I'm not sure that she was truthful in the answer. I don't know. I don't know what her childhood was like. But I thought her reaction was very interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and play that.
Long time ago.
Yes, on the 18th of December, please go and see Richard Gadd's show. It's well written and neurotic.
Yeah.
The filmed bum shots are the best. Fantastic ass.
It's a joke. It was a joke.
But
we were trying to encourage him.
Nothing negative, though, about it there.
No, because I didn't think he was a complete psychopath who was going to attack me in this way.
But the show did involve you.
This show here, not that show there.
It made no reference to
This was a previous show.
It made no reference to you, that show.
Which
the one you're talking about.
Yes. So, it's funny this is coming up now. My view is it's all about the money. Yeah, the Martha Barstow Edinburgh Festival thing wasn't making any money. He'd failed as a comedian, he'd failed as an actor, and therefore, let's make some money, sell this to Netflix. I think anyone in their right mind, you had a group of guys on there in their 20s, they don't believe it.
Can I ask you, what was your upbringing like?
I was going to say standard Scottish, singing standard Scottish countryside.
Happy? upbringing?
Impoverished, but middle class upbringing, if you like.
Any siblings?
I have a sister. My mother worked incredibly hard. My parents got divorced when I was 9, but she worked like a Trojan.
Are either parents still alive?
My mother is, yeah.
And how does she feel about this?
I've not talked to her about it. I'm hoping she'll have just seen the Scottish headlines and that's it. She's not an internet freak.
Okay, so that was a bit of a long clip, but it's that part where Piers asks about her upbringing. I think she was kind of caught a little bit off guard, and then she stumbled on her words just a little bit. And then she started doing this thing where she was like dragging out some of her words, like, do you have a sister? Yes. Like, I don't think that's exactly what she did, but it's just kind of like that. She kind of like drags her words, which she hadn't really been doing. She hadn't been stumbling on her words. And then there was something like interesting whenever he says, have you told your mom? And she kind of does this weird little, I'm not sure what it was, but it's almost like, I think she like seemed like, no, I didn't talk to her. Like it's like an indignant movement or something. I don't know. I'm curious to see what the body language people will say about that. Also, I just kind of want to comment a little bit. So as a mental health professional, I think it was just extremely misguided of him to like do this interview just for his own safety and the safety of his family. I mean, you really don't know what you're inviting in if this is someone who has a stalking disorder personality. I personally just would not have risked it. But that also brings me back to Piers Morgan and his own ego. I am not a fan of Piers Morgan. I will say he can be entertaining. Give him that. There's a reason that he has so many followers, but I really think he has an ego problem. And that's why I do think like this interview is just like slightly ironic, because I think this whole thing that he has with Meghan Markle, whatever you want to call it, I mean, obsessive might be a strong word. Maybe it's not. So you can go ahead and have your own opinions about that. But I'm just going to go ahead and play the clip for you about how he met Meghan Markle.
Well, it's quite a fun story, actually, because the genesis of my relationship with Meghan Markle was I started following a bunch of stars from Suits on Twitter. And she was one of them, because I loved Suits. And I followed about 4 of them. And the moment I follow Meghan Markle, I get a direct message from her saying, oh my God, I'm such a big fan, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, very nice. Start to correspond with her. We get on very well. We're talking about Suits plot line. She starts giving me a few juicy bones of plot lines to come. And then Meghan says, I'm coming to London to watch, do a few meetings, but to watch Serena Williams, her great friend, play at Wimbledon in the tennis tournament. Do you want to meet up? And I was like, yes, I would love to meet up. Why don't you come to my local pub, the Scarsdale Tavern in Kensington? Who would know that what a fateful night that was, because she went from me here to her first proper date with Prince Harry.
Okay, how do you know that?
I know that because she spent 3-4 more days in England and she had 2 nights with Harry. And 3-4 months later, it all came out. Harry dating actress. And I went, which actress? Whoa, what? And then it said they befriended each other in the last week of June when she was here to see her friend Serena Williams playing tennis. I was like, yes. And then they went out on like the Thursday night or whatever it was to 5 Hertford Street. I went, yes, I know that because I put her in an Uber from this pub to 5 Hertford Street. So literally, I was Cupid. I put her in the love chariot, which was a pretty rough old Uber, actually, but the love chariot to go and see Harry.
So you are responsible for their union, you feel?
Well, it's more that Harry is responsible for me never speaking to Meghan Markle again. Because I'd imagine that the conversation when they went on a proper date the next night was something like, so do you know anybody in Britain? Said Harry. And she probably went, oh, yeah, I know this great guy called Piers Morgan. And he went, what? What? You know this guy that used to run newspapers? You could never speak to him again. And she never did.
That was it?
That was it.
I love that only Piers Morgan is trying to take credit for the whole thing.
Okay, so that's Piers Morgan explaining how he met Meghan Markle and how, essentially she went on to meet, Harry, I guess, within the next couple of days. And basically Meghan Markle just completely blew him off after that. I kind of think it's interesting that he's giving the credit to Harry and being like, well, Harry told her not to talk to me again. It's quite possible Meghan Markle was just like, I met a prince and so forget you, and that's all on Meghan. Who knows? Who knows what the truth is? But I just really just wonder, did he think he had a chance with Meghan Markle and he's just like a spurned old man who just like is mad that he thought he had a chance with her, and then all of a sudden, Harry came along and he never talked to her again. I'm not denying the fact it's really crappy when you meet someone or you're talking with someone and then all of a sudden they ghost you. It happens. You were a 50-some-year-old man whenever this happened. Get over it, okay? Instead, he just went on with this like crusade about how Meghan Markle is such an evil person. And like, listen, I watched all kinds of people, Royal Rogue, Popcorn Planet, like they go over Meghan Markle stuff like all the time. They don't like get to me to the point that like Piers Morgan does, where I'm just like, wow, this really seems very personal. And like whenever I found that interview, I was like, wow, this is just because it's your own ego. I mean, think about it. Like, this man lost his job over Meghan Markle. Can you imagine letting someone have that much control over you, or losing that much control over your own ego, that you walk away from your own job just because of, you won't apologize because of comments that you made about someone? Let's go ahead and let's watch this clip.
And I understand that you don't like Meghan Markle. You've made it so clear a number of times on this program.
Even by the standards of a show in which confrontation is nothing new, this between two of its presenters this morning was extraordinary.
But yet you continue to trash her.
Okay, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no.
Sorry. Do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, mate, but not mine.
No.
See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry, can't do
This is
this.
absolutely diabolical behaviour.
The clash followed Piers Morgan's angry on-air reaction yesterday to the interview the Duchess of Sussex had given to Oprah Winfrey. Morgan saying he didn't believe her.
This is a 2-hour trash-a-thon of our royal family, of the monarchy, of everything the Queen has worked so hard for.
So were you thinking of harming yourself? Were you having suicidal thoughts?
Yes, this was very, very clear.
The fact that she'd spoken about her mental health resulted in a huge backlash against the GMB presenter. The mental health charity Mind saying it was disappointed and concerned, and the watchdog Ofcom receiving 41,000 complaints. This evening, ITV issued a statement saying, following discussions with ITV, Piers Morgan has decided now is the time to leave Good Morning Britain. ITV has accepted this decision and has nothing further to add.
Okay, so I agree there with the other anchor. Like, as Piers was like storming off the stage, like, I do think that was pathetic. I mean, it was like a toddler having a tantrum. It has nothing to do with like Meghan Markle. Like, that was just his own like ego right there, and he just wanted to say whatever he had to say. His job wanted him to apologize for his remarks. He could have said, you know, aside from any of the mental health issues she said she was talking about, I can't know what somebody else was thinking or experiencing, but I think what she's saying about the royal family is BS. Like, he could have said that. He probably still would have gotten backlash for that because she was talking about racism, but you know, he just, you know, chose to like trash basically the whole interview and everything she said. And that just like offended a lot of different people on a lot of different levels. But that was his reaction to it. And just tell me that that's not like a man, like, tell me that's not just like a man acting like a big baby. I mean, how many of us at our jobs have had to suck it up and do things we didn't want to do or apologize when we didn't want to, and we didn't go storming off like little babies because we couldn't, because we needed to pay our rent or put food on the table. He had 3 kids at the time. Granted, I'm sure he's not hurting for money, but how many mothers and fathers out there had to swallow their own pride working jobs that they didn't want to work for their kids, you know, to put them through school or whatever else, you know, and here's this grown ass man storming off the stage because he feels so strongly about trashing Meghan Markle. It's sad to me. It's like a sad, sad little man who got his ego hurt and he just can't let it go. Anyway, so sorry, this was a long video. If you stayed till the end, thank you very much. Also, if you stayed till the end, I don't have enough people to ever have like a sponsor or to have advertisements, but this is just a little tip for you. If you have stuck through until the end, if you like ice cream and you like chocolate, this is my new favorite thing that I've discovered. So these are Magnum ice cream minis. This one's a double caramel. So these people do not sponsor me. I don't have an affiliate link. There's like no way, shape, or form I'm ever going to like get money from this. This is just something that I think is awesome. So I'm just sharing it with the people I care about. And if you made it to the end of the video, this is like from me to you. Hopefully you enjoy it. So if you take these, right, they come in these little packets. They're basically like Klondike bars on a stick, except like the chocolate doesn't taste like Klondike chocolate, but it's just that it has that like hard shell around it. So what you can do with these though is you can like put them in a bowl. Here, like if you put them in a bowl, I put them like on a little slant so that there's just like the tip is hitting the bottom of the bowl. Microwave them for about 10-15 seconds. All right, now the tip that's touching the ceramic bowl, the part that's touching that might melt a little bit, but when you pull it out, the rest of the chocolate will remain intact. But when you bite into it, the ice cream on the inside will be like kind of like soft and melty. And this is just like one of my new favorite things. Like I said, like I've gained weight over this. I don't even care. Like right now I'm just kind of like being gluttonous with this and eating them. I'll worry about like exercising and eating some salads later. But honestly, it's like my new favorite thing. And honestly, I don't put one of these in at a time. These are minis. So I'll put like 2 of these in a bowl and I just eat them that way. So go ahead, try it, see if you like that. I might make a short about it, but I don't want to have like my face all over the internet being like, the ice cream. So this is just my little tip to you in this video. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for staying till the end. Feel free to leave me comments and I will maybe see you in the next video. Bye.